Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our political podcast. We call it The App. The app has nothing to do with computers. In this case, it stands for ArkLaTex People and Politics. And we have a really special guest today. Let me introduce you to Conrad Cable. Welcome, Conrad.
Hello, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, and Conrad is here because he is a new political figure to Louisiana, among other things. And just tell the folks what's on your plate here.
Sure. So my name is Conrad Cable, and I am putting my name in the hat to run for the 4th District. That's United States Congress. And so this year we have a Democratic primary. It's a closed primary system, which I'm sure that your viewers well know.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about it for a while.
And so we're really looking forward to getting through the primary, and if we get through the Democratic primary, which I am currently the only participant in that, the only candidate who has stepped up, and also I just have to make a note that I'm the first candidate to step up in 4 years.
On the Democratic side.
On the Democratic side.
Yeah.
And so
that means you would potentially face off against the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. That's a tough opponent to go up against.
It is, but I am up to the challenge. I don't think that people ever got in the ring with Mike Tyson unless they thought they could beat him.
Well, you know what Mike said, right? You remember his famous quote, "Everybody has a plan till they get hit in the face."
But look, I have to tell you, as a farmer in Louisiana, it has given me the grit. I'm first generation farmer. I didn't inherit a farm. I started a farm.
Well, tell us why you started that farm. It's an interesting story.
Yeah, sure. Just to finish my point, being a farmer, I believe, has given me the determination, the grit, and the problem-solving skills. Because more than just being a farm, I had to learn how to be a small business owner.
Yeah,
and that has given me so much insight into what it takes for regular people to try to achieve their version of the American dream. And starting a farm was my version of the American dream because it gives me meaning and purpose because I'm serving our community every single day. And I believe that by growing, I'm not a commodity farmer. I have a 3-acre farm. And so we are a diverse vegetable operation. I'm growing salad mixes, leafy greens, root crops. Carrots are #1 crop. Plus we do all the seasonal favorites. And
you got to go out and market all this stuff, right, to stores and stuff all over.
One of the reasons that we have been successful is that we have been innovators in local and small agriculture. We were the first farm in Northeast Louisiana to start a subscription service. And so that's called the Farm Share. And so that's all done online. It's 21st century farming because I have to tell you, it's one thing to have a green thumb and to grow high quality produce. It is another thing to sell that produce for a price that makes you a living. Sure.
So, let's get a couple more free plugs in there. Is it farmshare.com?
No, it's...
How do people get in touch with you if they want to?
I'm not running for office to promote my business.
Well, that's okay. We can do both.
Well, look, I really think that one of the tenets of our platform is anti-corruption. And so I personally don't think that politicians should financially benefit from their office. And so, I'm not going to plug my my farm or my business because I would really like to keep those two things separate. While farming has made me who I am today, that and the good country people who raised me, being a farmer only will make me a better representative, and I really don't want to get into...
You and your brother, it's a family operation, right?
Yeah, it is. So, I am so lucky. I feel like I'm the luckiest person on the planet because I get to, have a relationship with my brother that is just a little bit more than familial, and we've had to, work through a lot of things together. So that
it's family, man. Brothers butt heads, right?
But I get my family farm is on the land that where I was raised, and we. I get to see my folks every day, and it's home.
That's fantastic.
And it's in the community where my family has lived for 6 generations.
And you, when we talked the other day, you introduced yourself to me via a Zoom interview by saying, I'm the farmer from Farmersville, right?
Yes, I'm the farmer from Farmerville. So my wife and I live in Farmerville, and in case you don't know where that is, it's Lake D'Arbonne and Union Parish.
Okay.
So I love Union Parish. My family, like I said, my family has lived there for a long time, and I feel that I am called to serve. And with things that have been coming down the pipe, I feel that I that I can step in and make rural communities like Union Parish better. And I believe that District 4 is the largest and the most rural of all the Louisiana districts. 45% of the population lives in small little towns like Marion, where I grew up. And so I believe that through my background and where I was raised and how I was raised, I think, and how I live my life now, I believe that I have a very good perspective and experience with understanding the problems that everyday Louisianans face.
So you kicked off your campaign over the Labor Day weekend. So
Yes.
Right.
Labor Day, we wanted to make that very symbolic.
Okay.
We have a very pro-union, pro-labor stance on our platform, and I believe that having more union representation in Louisiana jobs will only raise our wages, give people better benefits, and give them more autonomy in the choices that are made at their workplace. We want people to be happy at work. We want people to be safe at work. And we want people who are showing up every day and working hard to be paid a wage that they deserve. And I believe that union representation at your workplace is one of the easiest solutions to raising wages here at home. I come from, my granddad was in a pipeliners union. My father was in a pipeliners union, and I saw the difference between families retiring without that pension and ones retiring just on Social Security.
Yeah, I understand. So what called you? You said you felt kind of called to do this, or and qualified, and what called you to decide to throw your hat in the political ring?
Well, I've been on the front lines of food policy for years.
Okay.
Even before I started being a full-time farmer, food advocacy and fresh food awareness was something that is just an inherent part of my being. My grandmother owned a cafe. I just can't help but feed people.
Okay.
And I have gone through food policy trainings on the state level through the Louisiana Food Fellows, and then a fresh food nonprofit called Sprout sent myself along with 8 other small to medium-sized farmers to Washington, D.C. in the summer of 2023.
Okay.
And so we met with the Louisiana delegation. And I will say that Mike Johnson's office was the only office out of the Louisiana delegation that offered an in-person meeting, although that meeting was at 7:30 a.m. And so I was the only one at the time. I was the only one out of that group from North Louisiana. And so Mike Johnson was a constituent, or I was a constituent of Mike Johnson's, and I was willing to be, I get up early, and I was willing to be there at 7:30 a.m. And my ask for the representative, and this was before he became speaker, and my ask was simple. I wanted to be able to connect small, medium, and regional farms with SNAP, EBT, and WIC recipients in an easier way.
Okay.
And
sounds like a good idea.
Look, and Representative Johnson told me to my face that, and this is in his office with the door closed and everything. I met his little dog Lincoln, but he told me that there was no member of Congress who would disagree with SNAP, EBT, and WIC recipients eating fresh food. Okay. That was a bipartisan issue, and that he would see to it that in the Farm Bill they would try to to get something to make that process. And I'm asking for regulations to be cut. You know, I'm asking for the process to be easier. And because those are the people, especially in my rural community, which I grew up seeing how rural people struggle with, especially our elders, with how they struggle accessing fresh food. If they are immobile and can't make it to the grocery store, you know, what are they left to do? And so food policy was what really got me started in my political awakening. But whenever I saw the way that I feel lied to, because Mike Johnson, with the big beautiful bill, has done historic cuts to SNAP, EBT, and WIC. And we're talking about people. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, obviously you disagree with that.
Yes, well, what they call entitlements, I think that access to fresh food is a human right. And 1 in 6 Louisianans is a SNAP EBT recipient. And 50% of those people, which we're talking 400,000 children, are SNAP recipients in Louisiana. And I don't think that those children should have to pass work requirements to get the food that they need. Because how can we expect hungry children to perform well in school? How can we expect hungry children to care about their future whenever we're showing as a country or as a state that we don't prioritize that they are going to sleep with a full belly? And look, I was raised by good country people, and we feed our neighbors. We clean out our closets whenever people have fires. And I mean, it's just really simple. It's Luke chapter 10, the story of the Good Samaritan. And I really think that we should be judged by how we tend and care to those of us who have the least. And I just have to reiterate, what they're calling entitlements, I believe that people have a right to not be hungry.
So you haven't, along those lines, you haven't seen enough progress. And this is one of the things you want to get in there and tackle.
No, absolutely. I 100% believe that SNAP is I think that it is a good program. I have worked with the Food Bank of Northeast Louisiana, which serves 16 parishes back home.
Okay.
And the funding was cut federally through DOJ because we had a working relationship where they were buying produce from our farm. Well, all of a sudden, that just gets cut off.
That went away.
And through having conversations with them, I came to know that for one meal, we're talking one meal, that the Northeast Louisiana Food Bank can get into the hands of someone, SNAP can get 9 meals in someone's hands for the same price.
Okay. Just because of their distribution?
Yes, because by enabling folks to be able to purchase at the grocery store, that's better than...
That alleviates a lot of the problem.
Yes, it's all of the logistics that go into the back end. But I think that it's another problem that in our communities where we have SNAP, EBT, and WIC, oftentimes there's not the fresh food stores available. You just have a Dollar General, like in Marion's case. Or you can drive another 20 miles to Farmerville to access your fresh, healthy food. And so I think that the USDA needs to cultivate a new relationship with its farmers. And we have a bold plan on our website for the USDA doing exactly that.
You can give us that website, right?
It's Conrad 4 Congress 2026.com.
Conrad
4 Congress 2026.com.
Okay, yeah. I remember that from the other day. I got on your website. I don't know if you saw that we used some of the face page of you standing there and in your overalls and stuff. I thought it was a great photo.
Good, yeah. I am an authentic person.
Yeah, I can tell.
And I am not going to change who I am because of what folks expect a candidate to be. And it's not trying to be a gimmick. I have not gone through my social media and deleted a bunch of posts. You can go back and look that I wear overalls. It's just a lifestyle.
Well, I mean,
but I have several suits though. Not overalls today.
I think it's great. Let me just twist a little bit here. What do you think then of what RFK is attempting to do right now?
I think that whenever we're talking about making Louisiana or making America healthy again, I don't think that it starts by cutting people's SNAP, EBT, and WIC. I don't think that it starts with eliminating food banks or local schools from being able to purchase from small to medium and regional farms. And I don't think that cutting these programs through SNAP Education that fund the double bucks and programs like that connect farmers markets with SNAP, EBT, and WIC, I don't think those are the solutions. I think that having more small and medium and regional sized farms absolutely will make our communities a better and healthier place. But I don't really see how the USDA is going to be able to achieve that by having its budget reduced. And I can speak to this. Our farm was the recipient under Joe Biden's infrastructure bill of a brand new RFSI equipment only grant. And so our farm, through the infrastructure bill, received more than $60,000 so that we could access a transit van for aggregating our food all over North Louisiana. And it was the first program like that of its kind that has given small and medium-sized farms access to the same kinds of funds that commodity farms have. And one of the few ways that small farms receive a subsidy from the federal government is through these farmers market programs connected to SNAP, EBT, and WIC.
Okay.
And those programs are sunsetting.
Okay, so they're going away. So food policy is like top of the list for you, right?
Well, I believe that.
I mean, I know you have other. I saw the other planks in your platform, and they're all.
I think that food policy is something that I'm extremely passionate and knowledgeable about. But I also care a lot about healthcare, and I think that I am not afraid to say that I support Medicare for all, and it comes down to my raising. And it comes down to the good Christian community that I was brought up in, that we don't leave people behind. We don't leave people stranded on the side of the road. And I think that Americans deserve to live with hope and dignity and not with medical bankruptcy.
Well, I don't think anybody would disagree with it.
And so, folks ask, the main thing that folks ask is, how are you going to pay for it? And I think that the government spends its money in so many other
frivolous,
frivolous ways. I mean, nobody is asking President Trump how he's paying for the National Guard troops to be in American cities. And, we don't have to get too contemporary, but I just think that there is kind of a double standard whenever it comes to talking about programs that make people's lives better. Medicare for all is the rising tide that lifts all ships. Because at the end of the day, if we want to tackle crime and if we want to give people access to the American dream, we have to make sure that they're healthy. We have to make sure that they're not struggling for survival and desperate. And I feel like every time I turn on the news, there is some type of new mass shooting that is happening.
Well,
and so we have a mental health care crisis in this country.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to get into the dignity that our elders deserve by having in-home health care in rural communities. And that is providing good jobs to people. That's providing people with peace of mind and dignity. And I just don't think that you can put a price on that. And as the wealthiest, most powerful, as the best country that has ever existed on this planet. I am enough of a patriot to look down upon people who are worse off than me and want them to have a better life. And I think that what people have a problem with government right now, I believe that those problems stem from government corruption. It stems from people not trusting government because for too long, our representatives have, especially since Citizens United, our representatives are auctioned off to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
And they don't represent their constituents, they represent their biggest donors. And they represent the super PACs who...
Yeah, I was just going to say, for those who don't know, Citizens United allowed the creation of these super PACs for this money to be distributed to candidates.
Look, and I believe in free speech. What does Elon Musk say? A free speech absolutist? I don't think that we should be censoring people. I don't think that free speech should be impinged in any way. It's what separates us from every other country in the world. But I do not think that a company's or a corporation's money should count as free speech. I think that the United States citizen
I think there's a lot of things that get grouped into the free speech category that I would not consider to be speech. Like physical actions and doing things. I won't get into individual things, but to me that's not speech, and I'm not sure how that gets protected. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or not. But I think we can figure out what I'm referring to. But.
I think that free speech even, it comes down to your data privacy too.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
There are so many ways that I feel like our rights are being eroded day by day. And so I think that we start to get some of those rights back whenever we demand better from our representatives. And that's why I support a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. I think that 75% of Americans wholeheartedly agree that we shouldn't have big money in politics. And
I've been hearing that for decades, that.
And I think that we need to ban stock trading. Once members of Congress go to Washington, D.C., it shouldn't be a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
We have to do better. We have to demand excellence. And I think that we have to go a step further. And once they finish their tenure, they can't be lobbyists in Washington either.
There'd be a lot of people that might agree with that.
It's a popular idea. We want a less corrupt government.
Well, I had Colin Allred, you know who that is, obviously. I had him on here a couple of weeks ago, and that's one of his big planks. No stock trading for people that are in Congress.
It's common sense.
It is common sense. It's, and he said it. I'm just going to quote him. It's insider trading. That's exactly what it is.
It really concerns me whenever Speaker Johnson tries to disqualify working people from holding that office by saying that unless you have stock trading, because a member of Congress only makes $175,000, you're not going to have qualified people seek that office because they can make more money in another field. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think that you should become a representative because you are called to serve the people of your district.
Okay.
And that is why I am going to do my best to be as transparent and as trustworthy. I think that folks can tell if I cared about money, I wouldn't be a small vegetable farmer.
Listen, I love your passion. I really do. You're refreshing to talk to. When you started your campaign kickoff over the Labor Day weekend, tell us about that. Tell us about the event. I saw you speaking and on some of the videos on your website. And
we did it in my hometown of Marion. I think that not only did we do it on Labor Day, but I didn't want to do it in Ruston or Shreveport or one of the larger cities because I believe that the heart and soul of this district is the rural communities. But 45% of the folks live in a rural community. And it's where I'm from, and it's always fun to invite my friends to come to Marion. It's a little out of the way, so not a lot of folks get over there, but we had a great turnout, and I I had one of my friends is a poet. I am an English major, and so
I find that interesting. We talked about that the other day.
Yeah,
that you had ULM, right?
ULM alumni,
and had an English degree, and you're in farming. That's a weird dichotomy. I think.
I started growing vegetables in my backyard, and I've always had a sense of adventure, and I was really interested in pursuing higher education, but by the time I finished my bachelor's, whenever I was getting pressure from my teachers to go to graduate school, I already had a really thriving backyard garden, and I was already going to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I was going to put in the work and dedication and the research into becoming a small farmer, because it's not just that you can grow the vegetables, that you have the business side of it. And an English degree doesn't quite give you an MBA.
Do you on the business side of this, do you have plans to expand your small farm?
I mean, as a small business owner, we try to grow every year, but my brother is my co-owner and operator, and he has really stepped up, because I've had to cut my work hours back to, just a regular 40, which there is not a farmer out there working just 40 hours a week, let me tell you that.
We know that.
And so my brother has really stepped up
Is he behind? I mean, is he helping you run your campaign too? Or?
No.
Not at all, huh? Okay. So how was the reception? You said you had the reception, you had your friends there, and is everybody behind you getting out and supporting the hometown guy?
Just because of the way that I've lived my life with integrity, and I have walked the talk that I talk. And so people have followed my farming journey. And so we had just an amazing core group of about 30 volunteers that helped me get the campaign up off the ground.
Okay.
My friend Carter shot our first ad as an in-kind donation. And I wouldn't have been able to have gotten this done without people that don't just believe in me, but believe in the platform that we're running on. And ever since we had the launch, our social medias have kind of exploded, and we've been gathering. We already have 200 volunteers, and every day I just can't believe how many names.
I know you're proud of that, the volunteers that you have.
Yeah, I am. I mean, wait. What was that?
I said I know you're proud of that you have these many people in.
I think that it speaks to how people want democracy to function. Mm-hmm. I think that it speaks that this district is considered to be under a single party rule, because folks like to say that it's 60% Republicans and 40% Democrats. But what they're not saying is that this district is 36% no party. They're not saying that there hasn't been a good Democratic candidate that has run in 4 years. And I'm not sure that the Democratic candidates in the past were that strong of candidates either. But what we're building has national momentum. And I understand that it's going to take $5 million for us to raise to beat Mike Johnson. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're on our way there now.
All right, awesome. Look, we're going to leave it at that for today. We're just about out of time here. I'm enjoying this conversation.
Let's do it again.
I was going to say, you want to do it again? All right.
Anytime, and because of my English background, maybe y'all have a program where I could talk about some good old Southern literature sometime.
We can do that on here as well.
Oh, good. Look, listen, I'll have some Faulkner stuff prepared next time.
Okay. Conrad Cable, he's running for Congress in Louisiana's 4th District. Eventually, he might have to take on the Speaker of the House. It's quite a story. Enjoyed it, Conrad.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thanks very much. Thank you for being here and watching this episode of The App. Again, it's available on all the major podcast platforms and all the KTBS digital platforms as well. The App, ArkLaTex People and Politics. Thanks for watching.